So what's interesting about this feeding of the 5,000 is that it is in every single gospel. So it was there in Matthew, and it was up here in Matthew. I was reading from Luke. I could have found it in John. I could have found it in Mark 2. That one. So it's so interesting to me that the feeding of the 5,000 is in all 4 Gospels, yet Jesus' birth is in 2. And the wise men in 1. So what is it about this that is so exciting that it makes it into all 4? This particular one that comes out of the Gospel of Luke comes after Jesus has found out that John the Baptist has been beheaded, his cousin, his friend, the person that went before him. He finds this information out, and he has also sent his disciples out, and he has sent them out 2 by 2. Do you remember reading about that or hearing about that one? Tells them not to take anything with them, and he says you can go out and you can start healing people and serving people, and they do that. So at the beginning of this gospel, all of them have come back. Jesus is overwhelmed that his cousin has died. And the disciples have come back, and all they want to do is tell him about the wonderful things that happened, the people that did tell them to get away from them, and the people that accepted them. So they all wanted to talk, and they all had so much to say. And Jesus was grieving, and he said, I know, let's go away and have some quiet time to rest. You ever feel like that? You just want to get away? Any of you ever go down to the dike by yourself and just sit there and get quiet? Yeah. That's what Jesus and the disciples did. They went to the water. And they got in a boat, and they went out, and they came in, and they went to Bethsaida. Now this is important because the Beth part, like a Bethlehem, Bethsaida, the Beth part means house of. In Bethlehem, it's the house of bread. And at Bethsaida, it's the house of fishermen. So isn't it interesting that he goes to the house of fishermen, and that he has disciples with him that are fishermen, and that they feed the people with fish? The other thing about Bethsaida is it is right there at the place that Herod cannot get him. It's out of Herod's jurisdiction, and now that Herod has already killed John the Baptist, Jesus goes to a place where he will feel safe. And that's what Bethsaida does, right there on the water, right there on that beautiful place where 5,000 people gather. Now, Jesus comes there to rest, but all of these people come, 5,000 of them. It's not like he can pretend they're not there. And he starts talking to them and listening to what they need to say, and he heals them, and he sends demons out, and he does all of that, and he does it all day long, and it's getting dark, and he realizes that they're hungry. You know the man has got to be exhausted. And they come up and they say, the disciples say, we need to send these people away. And Jesus says, nope, you need to feed them. 5,000 people. You thought when you had company come to your house and you had to fix something quickly that it was hard. 5,000 people. Yeah, how many casseroles do you have in your freezer? How many Domino's stores do you have on speed dial? So they're like, we've got a few fish and some bread here that we've taken from this little boy. What do we do with them? And the first thing Jesus does is he prays. The first thing he does is he takes those loaves and he takes those fishes and he thanks God for them. And then we know the rest of the story from there, don't we? 2 fish and 5 loaves, and they feed over 5,000 people. And then they have leftovers that equal 12 baskets full. Ever wonder where the 12 baskets came from? And the 12 baskets, we're told, represent the 12 tribes of Israel. And everybody's fed. Because what Jesus knows is that if Jesus were to do it by himself, Jesus could do a little bit. But if all of us work together, we can do so much more. And that's the invitation that we have today, is to take the $1,000 that's been divided into $20 bills from this congregation. This is money that was put into the budget that we would spend in this. But the gift of taking that $1,000 and adding a little more to it, and a little more to it, and a little more to it. And one basket that doesn't look like it has very much food in it at all, but added together, we're so much stronger as we work together. And last year we filled every box they had and even more, and they couldn't believe how much was there. So I invite you this year to take your money and on your way from here to there, say a little prayer, loaves and fishes style, and let's see what kind of difference we can make in this community from this little church here in this little town, and how many mouths we can feed and how many bellies we can fill, so we don't have people going to bed hungry. Not on our watch, not in our city, not if there's anything we can do about it. So loaves and fishes, Jesus is telling each and every one of us, you go feed them. It's not up to me. You go feed them. And all God's people say, amen. So we're recorded in all 4 Gospels, and this is the only miracle. Go to the next slide. Why this story? Why do you think this story is picked? Why this one? Why would they put it in all 4 Gospels? It's hidden rhetorical. I'm asking a question. Everybody eats, and everybody is hungry. And everybody helps them. All right, what's the next one? What's important about it? I just answered that one. Everybody helps. What does this reveal about God? God can do anything. God is limitless. Yeah, can you imagine what 1/500th of 2 fish would be? I don't even think it would be a scale. So it reveals that God can do anything. And the next one. And what are we called to do? Feed the hungry. Feed 5,000. And not do it alone, but do it together. I've said it, I feel like I'm a broken record up here, but being a Christian is not passive. Being a Christian is going out there and doing something. And so this is what we're called to do, and this is what we're going to do. Using our hands and our feet, we're going to go out and serve the Lord. Amen.